So the question was, what happens to all my debt if the dollar goes away, or if the dollar fades into obscurity, goes into the into the ether, becomes garbage? What happens to all of my debt, all of the dollars that I owe to bankers and car notes and what have you, and mortgages, etc.? Well, it goes away. You have to understand that. I mean, when a currency collapses, assuming we can get the dollar to collapse, and it won't collapse without help, in my opinion. I don't think it will. Not unless because right now the dollar's being propped up, and it's going to continue to be propped up with more and more illegals. Okay, that's because the illegals are giving the dollar value by working for it, or by just accepting them. Right? Seriously, it's that fucked up of a system that if you just give somebody dollars to spend into the economy, and stores, of course, all these stores are owned by the same three mega hedge funds. Like almost everything is owned by them now, right? And they keep accepting it. By virtue of them continuing to accept it, it has value in that regard. Now, it has no actual value to it in that it takes just as much ink to print a $1 bill as it does to print a $100 bill, and they can print pallets of $100 bills and send them all over the world to anybody and everybody anytime they want, and then funnel it all back through the military-industrial complex or whatever other industrial complex, medical. It doesn't matter anymore. They use everything. They use insurance scams. You name it, man. It really doesn't matter. It's pretty much every scam you can possibly think of, because it's all run like a giant Ponzi scheme. It's all run like a giant scam. So what happens to your debt? It would go away, or you could go find a few pallets of hundreds and just pay it off. Now the idea is that what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to pull all the dollars out of the economy, out of the American economy, and then subsidize the other side. This is it's hard for me to explain it without drawing it for you. But what they're attempting to do, and I mentioned this before, they're attempting to stave off what happened to the Soviets. Remember, these are the same people that ran the Soviet. It's the same people, okay? It really is the same folks. All those Marxists that took over the colleges back in the 50s and 60s, they're all still there. It's the same guys, okay? It really is. This weird idea of it's just a heist. Stop thinking about this stuff like an economic system. It's not an economic system. Communism, socialism, fascism, capitalism, corporatism, these are not economic systems. They're just heists. They're just a system of control to try and get all the money, all the wealth to go to a handful of people who don't want to work. That's really what it is. They don't want to actually be productive. Most of these I've gone over this. Most of these third and fourth generation trust fund kids are not productive anyway. They don't even know how to be productive anymore. It's not like the old days where someone got rich because they invented something really cool, and the market, the people, right, said, "Oh my God, you should be super rich because we love your invention." It's not like that anymore, because they hoover up those inventions, and they either push them out themselves, or they fiddle with the patents a little bit and they come up with it. So it's almost worthless. It's why you're seeing so little innovation going on right now. It's why it's not happening. So that's what they're attempting to do, is pull money out of the economy, pull dollars out of the economy, so that you have to continue to owe dollars. And this is, of course, why I know this is controversial, or I know it is, but I would be very cautious when you see them starting to meddle with laws, old laws. I'm all about getting rid of a lot of old laws. Okay, I'm all about that. I'm all about getting rid of any laws that have been really in the last 100 years or so are pretty much bad. But understand that when you start getting rid of, like, when I say old laws, I mean old laws. I'm talking about like common law shit. I'm talking about like Magna Carta shit. Okay, such as right of adverse possession. Right? When you start meddling with stuff like that, I realize it's expedient right now because you got a bunch of squatters that have been used, these people that are like, they're doing that on purpose. They do this on purpose. Okay, this is problem, reaction, solution. This is very simple. It was done in the Soviets, when the Bolshevik Revolution. It was done with the brown shirts. I mean, like, this is done every time. This is exactly how this plays out. a handful of people, and then they blow the story up, and then everybody they start wringing their hands, going, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God! We better get rid of get rid of these old laws." Like, yeah, but some of those laws are there to protect you. They're actually there to protect you from bankers. They're actually there to protect you from people claiming they own everything, right? So if they hoover everything up and they want dollars, how do you get dollars? It's a private currency. The dollar is a private currency. You understand? It's issued by a private central bank. Okay, so how do you get those dollars? If they hoover them all up, then you have to figure out how to get those dollars to pay this stuff off, as opposed to make the claim of like, hey, hold on, this was all fake to begin with. Everything that you're doing was a scam. I'm not giving you people shit, and I'm done with you. Do you see the problem here? This is, and I think that the right, the people, the so-called political right, you guys are going to paint yourself into a corner on this one. You don't even realize you're being moved into checkmate. That, by the way, is how you win chess, right? I'm not even a great chess player. I'm not. I suck at chess. But even I know that the trick is to maneuver your opponent into checkmate, and they don't even see it. And a lot of you are getting moved into checkmate right now, and you really don't see it, even though, because you won't listen to people like me. You won't. Like I get branded with, with the I'm on this side or that side. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm the money guy. I'm the guy saying, dude, what these guys are doing I'm the guy pointing to the guy behind the curtain, saying, dude, you realize it's the money, right? You realize that's the problem. It isn't all this other shit that you guys are arguing about. You guys are arguing about all kinds of fucking bullshit, and that's not the fucking problem. The fucking problem is all of this, the money. That's your fucking problem. And this, you're getting maneuvered into this so that way your assets can be taken. So this is a kind of a word of caution to people. If you have Weimar Republic style, Zimbabwe style hyper goddamn inflation, then yeah, it fucking goes away. Because you just go out into a parking lot somewhere and sweep up a bunch of $100 bills and go pay off all that debt. But if they take all the dollars out of the system, and if they make sure that you can't get them, well, then that's a problem, isn't it? That's what keeps it from going into the Soviet style system when the Soviets collapsed. So I'm just telling you, this is a strange one, because this hasn't happened. They've learned from their mistakes. I'll give them that. I'll give them credit. Don't underestimate these people. That's the other thing too. And I'm not kidding. Don't underestimate these people. These are very, very, very smart people. They've managed to pull the wool over billions of people's eyes for decades now. Okay? Don't underestimate this. These people are very, very, very smart, and they know what they're doing, and they're very clever at the way they implement this stuff. So just be warned that the dollar is a private currency, and if they hoover up all the dollars, that creates a problem. I'll do a video on CBDC sometime, and we'll talk about that issue, because that is a much bigger issue, but that's a different type of topic. This one, because that question was so specific, it's like, just keep this in mind, that they may still claim that you have a debt, even though they can't even define what a dollar is. They can't. Even Ben Bernanke couldn't define it. He was asked point blank by Ron Paul to define what a dollar is, and Bernanke couldn't do it. He said, well, a dollar is what a dollar will buy. It's one hell of a wiggle. That's a lot of wiggle room there, legally speaking, okay, and common sense wise, okay. That's a huge amount of wiggle room. So the short answer, I'm giving you the long answer. The short answer works like this: if you can get your hands on dollars, you can pay it off. Unless the whole thing collapses, and then you're able to just deal with it the old-fashioned way, that nothing's worth anything to a corpse. There you go.